Question of the day. What's your favorite food-related game? Now, there's a ton of great ones that have come out recently, whether it be chai or things like that, food or drink-related game. It could be even something like Grand Austria Hotel. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite food-related game is and why, whether it's the mechanic or the theme, because I love the mundane themes, right? I love the themes that are, you're a farmer and you wake up in the morning and make farm stuff. You're a magician, not as mundane, but still, it's a job game where you're a magician and you're putting on a stage show, right? I love the mundane themes, which is why I love games that are about going to work and doing a thing, especially things that are interesting. That's why I like the more mundane themes, like the one we're talking about today. In a world of pure imagination. No, not that chocolate factory, but a chocolate factory that looks conspicuously like that chocolate factory. We're talking about a game called Chocolate Factory today. It is a resource management game that really involves an actual conveyor belt mechanic and some different machines to make your chocolate the best of the best. So let's take a look at how Chocolate Factory plays right now. So this is Chocolate Factory all set up right here. Every player is going to get a factory board with 7 conveyor belt tiles, as well as a small, medium, and large corner market, or a corner store. There are 5 different department stores out here, which determine the in-game bonuses, certain things that you need to deliver to those. Those can be delivered to based on who your employee is for that round. You will gain 1 employee and 1 factory piece each round. And these factory things match kind of the idea of the pieces here, but you can put them above and cover a factory piece you already have, and notice how the art lines up, or you can put it below, making a space in your factory even more useful, because now you have an action here and here for this space of the conveyor belt, which makes it better and better. Currently on your board, you start with 3 actions. One is you take a cocoa bean and turn it into cocoa. Now, every single day, you get 3 shifts and you get a certain amount of coal. Machines take a certain amount of coal. So Monday, we're going to get 5 coal for the whole day, even though there's 3 shifts. You're going to get your cocoa bean and you'll put it on top of this first conveyor belt tile. And the shift starts by sliding this over. So now, this cocoa bean is right here on this space. So if you had an action here, you could do it, but currently we don't. So I can convert for 1 coal. You'd spin the coal out of here, place it on the machine to mark that you've done it, because you can only activate a machine once per shift. Spin the cocoa and turn it into a cocoa bean and turn it into a cocoa. Now, let's just say that's all we could do that shift. Well, the next shift starts. We would then put another bean here, slide this over, and now what's happening is, for the second shift, we still only have 4 coal left because we covered 1, but each shift allows you to do a new, you would remove the coal at the beginning of each shift. So now we could convert this bean into cocoa for a coal by spinning it. We could also upgrade this cocoa into its next step. And you'll notice the way it works over there. It goes from cocoa to chunks or bars, so it'd be bars, but it's either fingers or chunks. That's the different types of candy here, which I love, by the way. And this is the base game just like that. So you've got fingers or chunks, which you can convert to. Fingers or chunks can convert to wrapped candies, which would be either caramel or nuts, which would be these little nice things here, and the yellow ones. And then finally, all the way up to these fine, nicely wrapped candies in a box here. So a sorted candy sort of deal. Those are the upgrade chart that's listed here, just like that. So when you upgrade, we would be upgrading this into, let's just say, fingers for now. The reason you would do that is because you have certain goals on your corner store. So the small one has only 1 space, medium has 2 spaces, 3 has 3 steps, or large has 3 steps to move up. In order to meet those, you're going to have the candy in the storeroom in order to give it to that. So this one requires 3 fingers. So at the end of the round, at the end of this next shift, we would have one right here in front of our chute. Our chute could then put it out here and get it to the storeroom. Anything from the storeroom in the last phase can then be sent out to the different places, whether it be the department store based on your employee, or whether it be the corner store based on what you have here. They both score points. There's no better or worse strategy there, but these do score a lot of points if you're able to keep getting them. And once you finish one, so let's just say we turned in 3 wrapped yellow candies, then we turn this over, and in the cleanup phase, we would get a new small corner store. So there's a lot of money to be had there. The person with the most money at the end of the game is the one who wins. Now, There are a ton of different factories, and again, each round you're going to get a new factory card. So this one, for instance, for coal to trade any refined chocolate, that would be fingers or fingers or bit. What are they called? Fingers or chunks. The wrapped candies or the refined final candies. Trade in any two of those for 4 coal, and then you would gain all of that there. This one is trade in fingers for 3 wrapped candies of nuts, and you notice the symbols even match here, which I love. Trade in a chunk for 4, so it's fingers for 3, chunks for 4. You can either do one or the other. It's not a both and. This one's the same thing, but for red. This one is just straight up skip 2 steps, I believe. Yeah, skip 2 steps with your beans. So if you put this first and covered this spot up, you then have the access to then skip straight to yellow candy. But you may not want to do that. You may want to leave that down here and give yourself some options. So if you put it here now, when this first bean comes up, you can say, okay, maybe I need to skip straight ahead. So this one is upgrade 4 times. That's either one thing 4 times or 4 things 1 time or 2 things 2 times. You do the math. That is triple something. So if you have something sitting there, you triplet, whatever. You see what these do. They all do some sort of a combination of trading or refining or upgrading or just straight up changing, these to these or tripling or duplicating. So that's what all those do. Now, there are also different employees. Each company has the same type of employees, but there are different ones. So the dealer, this is an action you can do during your phase. Fulfill 1 stage of the corner shop order using 1 fewer chocolate of your choice. So you could fulfill this with 2 yellows instead. The reason why the chute is important, by the way, had you not sent it to the storeroom, you would then have to wait 1 shift, 2 shifts until it rotates off. Once this rotates off, it goes to your storeroom. So it's a way to get stuff out earlier, which will allow you to turn over and be more efficient when it comes to getting points. So that's the dealer action there. Supervisor, each time you load the conveyor belt, you load 2 beans instead of 1. That's definitely good and more efficient. The engineer, take an additional conveyor tile from your supply. You may run 4 shifts today. The director, double the number of spaces you move if you fulfill the order at the House of Luxury. So it just continues to really just boost your actions, but that's not all. You have the clerk, skip the next stage of 1 corner shop order. So just straight up moves it, but you don't get the money, but you do skip the phase. Double the space, we did that one. Upgrade 1 chocolate anywhere on the conveyor. And then here's the mechanic. Choose 1 factory part each time you operate it today. Pay half the usual amount of coal rounded up. So those are fantastic. You have these at the beginning of every round. You're going to get 1 new employee, which will be discarded. This is straight take 2 coal, earn an additional 1 for each stage of the corner shop you fulfill. Move a chocolate from 1 conveyor belt tile to another. They're all benefits. You're going to want to use them. Plus, you also get your factory part. Now, your factory parts do not go away. They continue to get better and better. Your factory will be wonderful by the end of it. At the end of the game, the person with the most points wins. Obviously, you're going to get more coal each round. It's played over 6 rounds, still 3 shifts no matter what, unless you have a boost. The person with the most points wins the game. There are a couple in-game bonuses. The person who's done the most corner stores gets $12, and the person who has fulfilled, if you have fulfilled 3 places, you get $3. 4 places is $12. 3 is 6, 4 is 12, and 5 is 24. So if you manage to spend each of your turns being a different place, you're going to get $24. Now, what these mean is you would trade in these things at the end of the round instead of spending them in the corner store to move up these spaces. The person who's the highest on the track obviously gets 16. You have to be at least half in second place, you get 8, and you have to be at least a third to get the 3rd place. So that's how you play Chocolate Factory. It's played over 6 rounds. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, but it's got a lot of neat moving parts literally and figuratively.
So that's Chocolate Factory. First of all, let me just say, huge fan of this game. It looks amazing. When you walk past this on the table and you just see the wooden bits, you go, well, I want to play that game because there's fingers and chunks. That must be British or European because I don't know what I'd call it. I'd be like, look, it's Kit Kats and crackle bars or whatever, crunch bars. I don't know. The point being, fingers, chunks, the little wrapped candies and stuff. I love that you have the way that they look. It just looks so good on the table. Then, the conveyor belt mechanic, right? So first of all, the game is a knockout the way it looks. It looks fantastic. The art and art design works. It makes sense. It just looks good. So big win for art for me. Now let's move away from art for a minute, art design. Let's talk about mechanics of the game. As far as the conveyor belt mechanic goes, I think that's one of the coolest mechanics I've seen in a mundane worker type game. And here's what I mean by that. The fact that you can upgrade your factory and then where the chocolate is at that moment is where you can act on it, to me is smart because not only does it 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 really simulates the idea of time and time for cooling and making and stuff. That's why you have the different shifts during the day. I think it just works. Like, it looks good as you move things through there, and it also makes sense. Okay, I can turn this piece of chocolate into this or this, and because I have this, I can stretch it and get 2 out of it. You know, even the actions make sense for a real chocolate factory, and to me, that's one of the coolest things, is that it makes sense. There's no like sprinkle magic powder and get 17 chocolate. It's not like that. It's a very realistic idea, abstracted down into pay a coal to do this. So it's an old school factory. It looks like, honestly, it looks a lot like if you go to Universal, the Toothsome place. I love the way that looks. And that art style is what this game really has. The workers are really nice. They give you a lot of different, the employees, I should say, they give you a lot of bonuses each round. The factory pieces, the factory parts get better and better and better each time as you progress through the deck of A cards and B cards. And so you have some really great options. By the end of the game, your factory is just running like crazy, and you're slinging out chocolate and hopefully filling those corner store orders, but also making sure that you're at the end of the game getting those bonuses for the points on those cards themselves. So Chocolate Factory is a huge win for me. I absolutely adore this game. I played it for the first time on the Dice Tower Cruise, and then I went and sought out a trade on BGG finally a year and some change later in order to play this again and play it. It's one of my favorite games. I love it. You saw it in my top 100, I believe. It didn't make the top 100 because I didn't have it at the time, and it was out of my mind at the time. Forgot about it because I hadn't done a review or anything like that. But if I redid the top 100, it would be in my top 100. So I'm Brian Drake here on the Dice Tower. Make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram, etc. at Dice Tower Brian. Until next time, we'll see you. In a world of pure magic, you get nothing. Fizzy lifting juice. It's great. Be honest though, Grandpa Joe, he all of a sudden could get out of bed when he got a meal ticket. What's wrong with this guy, right?